How little can the title of a movie have to do with the film's actual plot? Well, you're about to find out. We start with the only reason this film is called The Dogfather.
Dogfather.
One dumbass joke. And I hope that that was worth your time, because any connection this dog has to the mob will rarely ever be mentioned again. Despite the box cover for the film declaring, "Don't leave the boss home alone." Though I actually wonder if they mean this guy who treats his dog like it's an actual person.
My ring. My ring! Sonny, I never thought it would be you who would turn on me. You know how much that ring means to me. Give it back and you live. But you're no longer a member of this family.
Because somehow I can imagine his only two associates coming back and finding out that he's declared a hit on a plate of meatballs, or some clouds. Since when the Rugrats is able to do a better parody of The Godfather than a film whose name is taken directly from it, you know you've got issues. So after somehow swallowing a ring directly off his owner's finger, and somehow not choking on it, Sonny the dog runs off, to later be seen by the main kid protagonist in a moment that goes absolutely nowhere. A recurring theme when it comes to this movie. But right now we have to take you to bland character General Hospital, where that same child is being diagnosed with the most dangerous disease of all, plot convenience syndrome.
That's not a disease, it's a condition.
It doesn't have to be a disease.
Let's stay focused. Diseases, secretions, reeks.
It's nothing serious, is it?
Well, he has a weak heart.
Yes, this poor child has a weak heart, which means that he certainly shouldn't ever be running. At all. Or else this will happen. So, because this whiny pissant feels that his father is being so unfair and, you know, keeping him alive, they decide to buy him a dog. You know, one of those animals that never needs a large amount of exercise or requires you to be physically fit to be able to keep up with it. Although, of course, according to this film, all you need to do is badly act like the dog is pulling you along and you'll apparently do fine. And of course, we can't leave out the other superfluous plot points of this movie, number 3 and number 4, as we have to introduce the "there's an election for class president" plotline, and that the mob boss's henchmen are looking for Sonny plotline. Neither of which, of course, have anything to do with the main plot for most of the movie, especially the class president plotline, which begins with this reaction.
Someone with all the qualities to make a great class president. Josh Franks.
Physic, listen. Do you hear? That is the sound of ultimate suffering.
And ends like this. Which I could probably explain, but I don't actually think that would help. Though of course I will note how oddly similar it looks to the old Nerf Arrow Storm advert.
Hey, if you don't have the Nerf Arrow Storm, you're just a target. Don't you get it?
Which, given how this film treats Nerf guns, makes a lot of sense. As for some reason the Nerf guns in this film get sound effects to make them sound more like actual guns, and the movie twice uses CGI on them. And the other time it uses CGI is far stupider, but we'll get to that. Speaking though, of course, of bit part characters who have no effect or actual purpose in the movie, did I mention that the dad has an evil boss? Now normally I would just disregard him because he has so little to do, but...
So, models done then?
Not yet, sir.
Well, then why are you just standing there, smiling at the blueprint?
I got a part in a fancy DVD movie. It's only one line, but I'm gonna ham it up like you wouldn't believe.
Which means I may actually have to apologise to the villain of Invisible Mom.
Let me out!
Well, good evening, Mrs. Griffin.
Nice to see you. Or not to see you, as the case may be.
No, he's still pretty stupid. The family takes in Sonny, who appears to be wearing a huge gold chain with his name on and likely has the details of his actual owner on it, so well done, alternative girl who appears only in one scene. You did your job well. As we see how this film presents to us a boy bonding with his new dog.
You know just what I need when I'm feeling down. You have a way of turning things all around. Somehow, well, I wonder how you do it. And when I just can't take it all anymore, here you come, you're knocking at my front door. And I'm sure that you'll have a way to...
Suddenly makes that minute-long montage from The Mystery Begins seem like genius now, doesn't it? Oddly though, the film treats Sonny like it's the first friend this kid has ever had. Which oddly isn't brought up or explained, since we aren't doing the new kid in a new town trope. He's actually been here for some time. Which also makes me wonder how they didn't catch his weak heart until he was close to his teens, but let's not think about that right now. We've got unfunny slapstick to watch.
How about a little help, please?
Oh no.
So as we move on to the meat of the movie, which is not any of what is described on the back of the DVD's box, as Sonny doesn't swallow a diamond ring, but a ruby ring, which may or may not actually be magic, given that when it comes out of him, it looks almost perfectly clean. Or maybe it's just that Sonny has a magic ring of his own. The two hoodlums, as the box puts it, don't attempt to really steal Sonny and the ring at any point. Except for once, which ends like this. Because why the hell not? Since most of the film is spent with them just doing this.
What are you in here for? Getting caught.
And finally, the kids never have to protect Sonny. They do have to rescue him though, and make sure you imagine the word rescue with quotation marks, because their rescue is the most overly convoluted thing in this entire movie. But once again, we'll get to that in time. As first, we have to actually be introduced to these kids.
Meet my unit. This is Captain Crunch.
General knowledge.
General Electric. Private Property.
Corporal punishment.
Colonel Saunders. And finally, you've already met the most dangerous member of our unit, Officer Mac.
Colonel stuck in my teeth. Please,
I hate you.
stop.
And really, I don't think I could perfectly emote how pointless these characters are, so here's Bill Bailey to do it for me.
Nothing of any consequence. He's like a key change at a One Direction concert. Yeah?
As we continue, we see that the dog and the dad are at loggerheads with each other, especially after Sonny ends up destroying the model he was making for his job, which for some reason he was doing at home instead of the office that they show he has, because, I don't know, this guy burnt it down. We do, however, get a scene that seems like it's going to go somewhere, as Sonny is brought to school on Show and Tell Pet Day. However, of course, what we actually get is...
nothing! Absolutely nothing! Stupid! You're so stupid!
Though actually, if you look in the background, one girl brought a topiary rabbit, which may just be the saddest and most pathetic thing I've ever seen.
I see a lot of meatballs, but I don't see no sausage.
Only to be topped by that. As we approach what you could only call our finale, if you were to be extremely generous with that word, the dad has an important presentation, which is being held at his home. Because shut up. So he sends the kid and Sonny off so that they won't get in the way. Which ends up in some of the worst ADRing you'll ever see. And it's meant to be extremely aggressive, yet has a face that says...
Bacon! Where's the bacon? I smell bacon! 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 Gotta be bacon! Only one thing smells like bacon! That's bacon! Bacon, 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 bacon! There! From that bag! What's it say?
So after having mild chest pains to begin with, the kid has to chase after Sonny, who's chasing the other dog. And of course it ends up with him going down like a sack of spuds. Conveniently, just after he arrives home. So, you know, instead of the dad and the dog bonding over Sonny alerting him to the kid having one of these attacks, or something similar, they just use it instead as a piss-poor plot point to allow the mobsters to steal back Sonny. Which, of course, leads us then to our piece de resistance of crap for this movie. Or maybe a better French term would be the coup de grace. As here is our climax in a nutshell. The Don wants the ring back, so he calls the family and ransoms Sonny. The dad goes to do the trade, with no obvious consequences for trading the ring, as it hadn't been brought up since it came out of Sonny. Then the Nerf kids from before show up, reenact a piss-poor Home Alone sequence, which includes more terrible sound effects for the Nerf guns. And then there's this moment of absolute sheer stupidity. Let's watch.
I've had enough of you.
What the hell was that?
That's right, they did the diving in front of a bullet moment using a CGI Nerf rocket for a piece of foam that wouldn't hurt them even if it did touch him. Truly, we have witnessed the dumbest thing ever put to film. Ending out the movie, nothing has really changed, other than the villain is now going to jail for some reason. None of the characters have developed, and all we're left with is a dirty feeling that no amount of showers will ever be able to wash away. Oh, and of course, this.
I am live on the set of the motion picture The Dogfather with Sonny, the star dog.
Gabe.
Pardon me?
The name is Gabe, okay? Get it right. Sonny's the movie name. And another thing, I'm not just a dog. I'm an actor, too.
Because, you know, save your best jokes for last. At the end of the day, The Dogfather is a terrible movie in pretty much every way. The acting ranges from terrible to subpar, with neither the antagonist being believable or the kids being likable, which is always going to be tricky when our first interaction with him was him whining about not being allowed to do something that could kill him. The same goes for any of the secondary antagonists, whether it's the overacting of the kid or the continuous one-note joke of the two henchmen. Along with support characters who are also barely one note or barely there at all in the movie. Not helped, of course, by a plot which can't decide what it wants to be. Is it a movie where a dog helps bring a slightly broken family back together? Is it a movie where a group of outcast kids overcome the antagonist at school? Is it the dog helping a workaholic father and son bond? Is it a generic Home Alone ripoff? Is it a movie where the kid learns to overcome their medical disability to become great at something? Because it feels like it's trying to be all of these at once and failing miserably to do so. Even when it does settle on a single course of action for its plot, it does it in the laziest and half-assed way it possibly can. Overly convenient moments or carbon copies of moments that we've seen 100 times in other films, resulting in nothing original to make this stand out amongst so many other family titles. And you'd be excused in thinking that this film must have some sort of emotional resonance, because it does have the bold statement of "in the tradition of Marley and Me" printed upon its box cover. Though, this does make me think that whoever wrote that quote has never seen Marley and Me, or possibly this film. Something made even more possible, as there's no name attributed to the quote. But really, at the end of the day, there's nothing more to say about this movie. It's not worth your time or effort even to watch with friends to riff on, let alone watch it on your own. So, I've been Tyas, this has been Tyas Looks At, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching this video. If you want to be kept up to date with new content and show some support for the show, you can find our page on Facebook, find me on Twitter at Tyas Looks At, or subscribe to this channel on Dailymotion. Or if you want to support the show even further, you can find it on patreon.com/TyasLooksAt. Supporting the show will give you access to videos earlier than anyone else, additional bonus reviews, as well as other perks, and allow me to spend more time making content like this. In any way, shape or form you choose to show your support to the show, thanks for watching.